Hi, guys.
Hi, Lydia. I'm at work still, so I've got the fans going in the background because it's like 200 degrees outside.
It sounds fine.
Good.
I mean, for me.
Yeah, it's a much bigger space that I'm in than I am when I'm at home,
Uh-huh.
so less echo.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to come through pretty well. So, Trouble, do you have a one of those note-taking template docs ready to go for tonight?
Hold on, opening one up right now.
And where are you going to locate it on the Google Drive? Because we actually do have a spot for them now.
I will move the document as soon as it's created.
Oh, okay. So it's
So
under. It's
on the
under.
left-hand side, when I do when you click the drive, uh, what are they called? The add-ins on the left-hand side.
Okay.
There's one for Google Drive. When that opens up, then you can create shared notes or create shared sketchpad.
Oh.
And we do create shared notes, and then it basically opens it up in my default folder, the home folder or the root folder for me.
Uh-huh.
And then shortly after that, I can move it to whatever folder it needs to be in.
Okay. I'll send you a link after the meeting tonight to where it needs to go.
I think I've got the link in the in my last big post to the meeting.
It might be in the best practices post.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're live already?
Oops.
Yeah, sorry. There's nobody here yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Bit silly.
Oh, well, that's how we are.
I don't even have my stage makeup on yet.
So, where can we see the link to the notes document?
Give me just a second, and I will.
I hate the way my webcam on my computer works.
Oh.
It chooses way too low of an exposure always.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you can see my background clearly. Great. Can't see what I'm doing.
Me too. See?
Yeah.
All right, here's
Much
the
the same
document
deal.
link at the moment. Hold on. There's the chat. If you've got Melina in another chat, go ahead and share this with her.
Yeah, I have her in a chat window, so I can just, I think, no, I can't. Let me try this. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
Click the link, and that'll bring it open for you. And then once the link is open, you should be able to just copy and paste it or share it with her from within. Let me see
Yeah.
what the settings are.
I've just been having some trouble because now that I'm on a Chromebook, I can't seem to copy anything out of the group chat. It won't actually select it. I don't know what that's about.
There might be an add-in that will help with that.
Let's see. Melina asked me something, so I'm trying to process what she said.
Okay. Did I? What do I have to do to turn on Q&A?
Oh, yeah, Melina's trying to get into the Q&A area and she can't.
All right, let me see if I can enable that real quick. Patiently waiting for my computer to catch up with me.
Someone invite John?
Flies are getting annoying. Come on. You guys there?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Trouble, can you invite John? Just sent us a message saying knock knock.
Hi, guys.
Hey, John. Dale.
So we're live.
We should sit slightly further apart, Dale.
Yeah, I'm gonna move.
There we go. I don't hear myself anymore. Yep. Okay.
We're warming up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, although we are already live.
Oh, we are
That's
live.
how we
Okay.
roll.
Well, strawberries, cashews, pepitas, and kefir.
Lasagna here.
What happened to Trouble?
Oh. I don't know.
So, I'm not sure any of us really understands these hangouts on air. For example, I can't invite additional people. Only the originator can invite additional people?
Yeah. I mean, you can invite them to the event post, but you can't invite them on the actual call.
Right.
And also, I can't enable the Q&A. The call initiator has to, HOA initiator has to do that, I think.
Okay.
And right now it's disabled, so people can't do Q&A. I haven't checked to see if people can actually watch it yet.
Well, yes, I know people can watch it because I was watching it.
Okay, good. So Melina's going to help take notes tonight.
That's great.
And anybody else want to do that too? The link is in the group chat.
And for those of us who are trying to remember, how do you find the group chat? You go to the event.
Oh, look for the group chat is actually in this window. Go to the left where all those thingies are and find the blue thingy with the white horizontal lines just below the pencil with the mustache.
Okay. Well, mine is here, but it's empty. I typed the word empty, and I'm going to guess you can see it. That's
Okay.
the only thing I have.
Here, let me see if I can put it in again. Yeah, that looks right. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. So people who join after somebody comments can't see previous comments, apparently.
Right. Okay. Now, these notes, the link that you gave me, do not seem to be editable.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Huh. I don't think he heard you.
Who?
I just joined. What's up?
The Hangout notes seem to be blank and not editable.
Okay, let me see if I can change the sharing on them.
Okay.
First off, I'm going to turn Q&A on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been juggling file systems with my computer all day today. Apparently, something hadn't freed up in memory, so I had to restart. Sorry about the crash.
That's okay. We were all here still, so we kind of did a little bit of review on how certain things work in the HOA anyway, so it worked.
Yeah, it looks like I can't turn Q&A on after the broadcast has started. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, people can Q&A in the actual event post if they want to, and I'll monitor that.
That'll work. That should work. We should make a note in the event post. I'll post something. Give me a minute. I'm opening up the document real quick.
Okay. So Dale, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Dale Price. I am one of the Amory Fellows for this summer at Rice University. I'm working on adapting the flex joint design from the FlexiHand by Gyrobot to our prosthetics. Here is the hand that I have right now with our BDMS silicone joints.
Can you hold it up in front of your face? That's better. Because our windows kind of cover up the bottom of the screen.
It's really nice.
I don't know how well you can see this, but basically there's a cast silicone dog bone shape attached between each finger segment.
Oh.
And no screws, no bolts, no metal.
Yep.
That's great. Is it ready? Is it ready for prime time? Where have you been all my life?
That's the old design that what's his name made. It's just a scan of his hand that he chopped up into parts. I mean, it would work for transradial people, but we could do cooler things for them.
So what is it made out of?
The main part of the hand is just 3D printed PLA.
PLA, okay.
But it could be done in ABS or nylon or anything.
Uh-huh.
And
Just hard plastic.
Yeah.
and these joints wouldn't work. Well, you say for transradial, but they're also.
Oh no, that's just that specific design. They'd work for other ones too. Yeah, no reason not to.
Yeah, the joints could be implemented into just about any kind of prosthetic design.
Cool.
And the making of the joints is by a standard mixture of some silicone material. Do we have that recipe out there?
It's 10-to-1 PDMS, which is expensive biocompatible silicone, but we can probably find cheaper silicone someplace. This is just what we had laying around in a primarily bioengineering lab.
Could you eventually 3D print them in silicone?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
But you can print the molds and cast them, which is pretty easy. Only takes a day. Or like 3 hours if you put them in the oven.
It seems to me, I mean, it eliminates the springs.
Mm-hmm.
It produces what looks like a really nice movement. You tell me it has little resistance.
Yeah, less than elastic, certainly.
These things, once we know how to make them, are probably much cheaper than metal materials and probably also more sustainable than the metal materials.
Yeah.
So a variant. So how would you imagine? So what do we call it? We call these flexi joints. So there's likely to be a flexi cyborg beast and a flexi talon hand.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen?
Well, that's what I was planning on working on this summer.
Well, what are you waiting for, dude?
I just haven't had a chance to get started because I'm busy trying to figure out how best to cast the silicone.
Got it. Okay. It's a great project, and it looks like you've made great progress. That's really neat. So, what's next?
Do we have an editable note doc yet?
Should be.
Did you post it?
I did.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I'm going to attempt to move it into the I'm going to attempt to move. I'll wait till the Hangout is done, and then I'll move it to the
Right.
the appropriate folder.
So, are you taking notes right now? Because somebody is.
I am. That's me.
There's supposed to be a template for taking notes that Jeremy had. I just didn't remember where that got put.
Me neither. But Trouble will undoubtedly add it to his best practices document, which we all study religiously.
It probably is already in there, actually. But yeah, yeah. So the notes doc goes in Andreas's meeting notes folder.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have the link in front of me.
Okay. So who's, since we're working on the mechanics of the mechanics here, who opts? Well, so Lydia, is this one of your specialties, the sort of after the fact, making sure that it ends up where it needs to be?
Kind of, yeah.
I think that would really be a helpful thing, because otherwise, you know, he who is leading the meeting collapses in a pool of sweat at the end of the meeting and forgets everything else, and then things go awry. Okay, cool.
That's why I'm trying to be sort of like the support person for the Hangout, so that I'm like a secondary host, so that the person who's actually leading the Hangout can actually lead the content.
Okay, good. Then let's stop talking about you and get back to the host's topic of conversation. Trouble, are you? I'm looking at your static picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
trying to make sure I don't have too much bandwidth or CPU utilization on my end.
Sure.
I didn't really have any specific topics for today. I did want to see Dale Price's flexi finger joints, and beyond that, I didn't have a lot to bring up today. So, if anybody else has anything they want to bring up,
Well, Nick has a good story to tell.
I'm hoping. Oh yeah, you can see that.
They're interest to me. Nice.
Yeah, so it's made this one transparent so you can see a bit better, but so you can pull and those sleds slide down, and then there's 5 strings coming off of these, one for each sled. And
All right,
then if I pull this end, it pulls them all up.
Could you go through that again slowly? I want to make sure
I can go through it plenty. So there's 5 sleds in here, and I've got a picture that I can, in fact, I'll put that up.
And it's one sled per finger, right?
Yeah, 1 sled per finger. And this main line here is just a loop. This is just a loop that goes in this side, has a loop through each sled, and then comes out the other side. And in these sections here, so in between each sled run, so like this section here really, there's a wall this cord can't get past. So the path of the cord is that sort of thing.
Zigzag. Yeah.
And so when they're pulled out, pulling on the looped cord makes all of the sleds pull back.
Right.
And the nice thing about that is if they're all pulled out, whatever degree, it doesn't matter how far, and you can't move, say, 4 of them, you can still pull this loop and the other one goes down. And then if another one gets released, it can go down too, and they can all come down various different distances, unless your knots get stuck at the end, which is something I'll fix.
Right. I'm desperate for you to put fingers on this rig so I can really see it. I know I started this conversation, and I can't tell you how cool it is that you've done it, but I no longer understand it. Okay.
Anyways,
Right.
that's the gist of it. So we can move fingers different distances if we use this to power them. Oh, and the reason I've got it set up like this instead of on the hand is we can just bolt this onto a wrist and attach this part, probably with some pulley or with something to it so that you get the right amount of pull for wrist bendage.
Yeah.
And then this could drive existing hand designs. We don't need a whole new hand built around this. We can just change the gauntlet.
You know, just looking ahead, because I can't resist, those sleds look like they can also be manipulated by pulling on them with your fingers, with your other hand. They could, in principle, you could use your good hand to act as puppeteer for your mechanical hand.
Yeah.
And if there was a way of locking it down, it might be possible to use that as a way of posturing individual fingers.
Yeah. So adding locks to all of them would, I think, be a bit complex. But what I want to do is, so if you're looking at it this way, and we've got thumb, pointer, middle ring, pinky, I want to add a lock right here and right here. So these 2 right here, so that the loops that drive these 3 strings are immobilized, and when I pull this, it's only these 2 that get pulled, so that these 3 fingers just sit there doing whatever, and these 2 are driven.
Yeah.
So if we locked them when they were all the way down, these 2 would be locked in place, and we can just drive a pinching motion like that.
Really,
or we can launch
really,
them when they're all the way up. Either way.
really interesting. By the way, I don't know whether you caught it, but I found that funny article about using pulleys for logic gates.
I saw that a while ago.
That's why I posted it. It just seems like it might be somehow, somewhere, at some point, useful information. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it'd be fun to make a computer out of those pulleys as a steampunk project.
Yeah, a little out of scope, but
Yeah.
and you should have screen share now. So
Yes.
this is the current state of my metacarpal thing. It's not fully rigged up right now, so I can't really wave all of it around, but the fingers bend really far, not quite as far. Oh, yeah, it's really slow right now. The fingers bend not quite as far as that flexi hand, but as far as the Cyborg Beast does. And these guys here can... Oh, I've locked things and made it all confusing. Oops. Yeah, I haven't quite finished rigging it up yet, so I can't wave it around in software, but I'll have it printed like tomorrow, hopefully. So, in fact, I've got this one, and this one printed already.
Yeah.
Just haven't pulled them off the bed. But so it can bend in this. Here, let me see if I can. Oh, what's that? So you see, I can bend this one like this to imitate the. It's called the transverse metacarpal arch. It's like how you hold a plate. You sort of bend your palm.
Yep.
And then this thumb is rigged up so that I can't actually wave it around in software right now, but it's got cables to pull it towards the fingers and out forwards towards the front of the palm. So this should be able to. This thumb should be able to do everything the real thumb can. Is what I'm saying.
Amazing.
So it should be a huge help. Should be a huge help for all of the precision grips and the cylindrical and spherical grips that are all talked about in that MCCC PowerPoint presentation, which should probably be in the notes.
You will put them momentarily, I am sure.
I don't have the notes open. I'll drop them in chat, though. Enjoy, everybody. Starts at page 25, the worthwhile stuff.
Okay.
And that's pretty much that design.
And what do you call that? That's the...
I just called it a metacarpal hand is what I called it. It's because these are the metacarpal bones right here. Or these guys here are metacarpal bones. And the drive on them is the main thing I changed. Oh, also, I'm probably going to, I'm not sure yet, I'm probably going to add the lateral motion in the MCP joints, which is these knuckles right here. And so that's what I'm doing. Because that'll be helpful for the spherical grip, which is that guy there, versus just the cylindrical one, which is what we can do right now. So for like grabbing the tops of stuff, it's really helpful.
It's also, because I didn't have a thumb for the first 12 years of my life, I tend to grab things like this, and that motion will be helpful for simulating that. The basically overlapping fingers.
Yeah, that's called the side-to-side grip in that presentation, and they describe it as kind of bad.
Well, it's more than that. It's once pulled in, I'm doing top to back.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I can see that being sort of interesting. That'd be hard to drive, though, but yeah, it adds that ability.
Yeah, you have to be able to move each finger independently, but I would like to see this metacarpal hand be one of the hands that we try to experiment with the Mayo project.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely the intent of it. There aren't enough there just aren't enough degrees of freedom to harness on a body to drive it. There's, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and potentially 9.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely driven with a packet of little servos in the forearm. Oh, and then I haven't done anything interesting with these yet, but I also bought these little half-inch nylon balls, which, here, I've got a whole bag in here, which I'm hoping I can make ball joints with. Considering how well the flexi joints worked, I'm not sure there's a need, but I imagine I can make really great ball joints by essentially casting one of those in the joint in silicone and then freeing it, and then the silicone will act like the, I've forgotten the term, the fluid sacs that are in our actual joints that make them work no matter how much you're pressing on them.
Right.
Keeps them from binding up.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those will be useful for stuff. I'm not too sure what. I was going to do it for this joint here, the CPC joint, I want to say. I learned a bunch of vocabulary from the links that David posted. I want to say it'd be useful for that, but you only need, like, what's that, 60 degrees of motion in there, and I'm pretty sure I can get that just driving the flexi joints sideways.
Do you have anything to say about how this design relates to either what David Dietz is working on or what Ali Lemus demonstrated this week?
Ali's design isn't biomimetic like this one. It's a lot easier to drive, which is like you can't use this one for the one I made for body powered stuff. So that's awesome. But in terms of like figuring out how to do natural gripping, I think just kind of copying the body is better.
Cool.
I didn't comment on this when you were showing it, but I love the sleds and pulleys design. Elegant and simple. That's
yeah. It's not that smooth yet.
yeah. Well,
I hope it breaks in
elegant
more.
and simple often has rough edges.
Mm-hmm. Its biggest issue is that I tied double 8 knots in all these because, well, rock climbing, that's the only really secure knot I can ever remember.
Right.
And they're big. They get caught in things.
Yeah.
So I need to buy little crimps or something. That's probably the right solution for that.
And I imagine angled paths to where the sleds are being pulled might also be helpful.
Yeah, perhaps. There's like almost no friction from the sleds. It's almost all a matter of dragging the driven cable around all of those bends. What would probably be helpful is vapor smoothing that stuff, or like coating it in something.
Are you using your little ball bearings for where the pulleys are going around?
I haven't used these for anything yet.
No, not those. The ball bearings, the little circular ball bearings.
No, I've got those, but I haven't tried them yet. This is just, it's all printed here. You know, I've got a picture of it disassembled that I can put on my public Google Plus.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that right now because it's a very helpful picture.
Google
So
Plus.
not the enable group.
Now we're all connected to the profile.
I don't feel like well, just not in the enable group because I don't feel like explaining it right now. So in text, that is.
Do you feel like it?
Yeah.
Can you give us a link to it?
Google.com/plus Nick Parker. Huh?
That's what you said. You work for me.
It didn't?
What? It should work.
Here's the link I tried. Oh,
Plus.
Plus.
No.
Okay.
Ah. Oh,
Yeah.
Nick?
Yep.
Did you mean for just those of us in the call to have the PDF link, or can we put that in the notes?
Oh, no, I meant for you to put it in the notes. I just don't have the notes open.
Left.
If you put it in the sidebar, it'll get into the notes.
Will it?
Okay.
Excellent.
Well, we copied the sidebar.
Cool. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I do at the end of a meeting if I'm
sending you to my
not
profile.
missing
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, hey, Trouble, I think things are starting to echo on your end.
Yeah, I've got too many tabs open. Hold on.
Okay, so Nick, I'm now looking at your personal page, which
Yep,
is, of
there
course,
should be a
filled with
picture there
all
now
sorts of things.
Should be a picture there now of the of that thing disassembled. Should be.
And yet, I do not see it because there's so many things here. I suppose I have to put most recent first.
I
You
just
could
put it there.
You could give it.
Here. I can
Paste
just
us a link. Exactly.
copy the image URL instead of trying to get you there. Well, I didn't have it until like just now.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yep. So that's that mechanism.
Something.
And I got my.
Ooh,
So if
nice
I can
picture.
soapbox for. Yeah, it's a nice picture. Huh? I can soapbox for a moment about the myoelectric sensing. So that SparkFun design is like crazy simple. All it is a really, really high impedance amplifier that rectifies and smooths it afterwards. So really, really high impedance amplifiers, just the chip alone, are like $2. And then another cheap op amp to rectify it is like 70 cents. And then to smooth it, you can just use another one of the op amps on the same board as the first cheap one because they come in little 4-packs. So the critical components for that board are $2.70. And then
Nice.
you need like 4 or 5 capacitors and a few resistors, and that's it. So I have the precision one that costs $2. It came in the mail on Sunday. And the other stuff is someplace. We're not sure if it got here and got misplaced or what, but it'll probably come in the mail soon. But yeah, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to build like 4 of those on one little breadboard for like $10, $12.
What, Trouble?
Yeah, I was going to say, building just a couple of breadboards would drive almost everything that's in his hand that he just showed us, the metacarpal hand.
Oh no,
So,
I meant for Myo pickup. I'm not sure that I guess you could drive little 9-gram servos through breadboards.
but you could set a signal to something else that could drive it.
Yeah.
You just
For
need,
the tiny ones, you can probably get away with just straight using the breadboard. You're right.
yeah.
I need to buy those. So what else is going on other than stuff that I'm half finished with?
So I've been thinking a lot, for a while, I've been thinking a lot about the sensory feedback part, obviously because that's what I wanted to do with the Myo. I can think of a few ways to pass back different kinds of messages to
Nick, you're making a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry. What?
Yeah,
Is
I can't even.
not Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My mute doesn't work?
Oh.
I've used this headset for like years. This doesn't... Do I still sound the same?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was like...
My friends have eavesdropped on so many conversations. Okay.
Oops.
Continue.
Yeah, Trouble's trying to
Sorry.
say something. All I hear is crackle, 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 crackle.
Yeah, I was unwrapping my Velcro. Don't worry about me, though. Continue.
Okay, Trouble, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I've been thinking about the sensory feedback stuff that we've been for the Mio project. I think that we could do it with just with like pager motors, and you could sense touch when the fingertips sense touch. I could relay the buzz to somewhere else on the arm, or you could put them anywhere. And that's one way that we could do sensory feedback. Another thing that I was thinking about, if you wanted really exact pressure sensation, would be, I don't know, put balloons or something similar in the fingertips that when there's pressure on the fingertips, inflated something on the hand or on the arm that would also relay exact changes in pressure. Although I worry about how rugged that would be.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as just an electrical switch turning a pager motor or a electrical switch vibrating a piezo, I think that either of those would be simple ways to do sensory feedback.
Certainly.
Hold on one second. I'm going to turn the fan back on. Flies are driving me insane.
Let's see. What else am I even... Yeah, that's all of my stuff. I'm not doing anything with the kids here yet because we haven't met them yet. We're hopefully doing that tomorrow, but probably next Monday.
Kids? I missed that.
There's several little kids, I think all from the same family actually, but like adopted or something. I'm not too sure. There's like 6 kids here that Dale and I are supposed to work with that all have 1 or 2 complete fingers, usually these 2, and no thumbs, and then they don't have these fingers, but they also don't have the metacarpal bones that go with them, so these things here. So they don't have like a partial palm, they just kind of have this little wedge of finger right here, and some of them don't even have this half.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm essentially going to use the design I showed you earlier and just take out the parts that they've actually got. And change it some so that it can be mounted to them, hopefully just with like silicone molds, because I really like the silicone stuff.
That's amazing that they're all from the same family and all have such similar issues.
I think they're from different parents. I think it's a parent. I think it's a pair of parents that adopt people like kids like this. I'm not too sure.
Oh, that makes sense.
I've known other families that do that. A lot of the kids that have similar deformities to mine that I've met are all adopted by the same set of parents. So
that kind of makes sense. You know, kids getting to...
It does. Yeah. Similar set of things that you have to adapt for, and if you've done it with one child, it's easier to do it for another.
I was thinking from the kids' perspective, too, though.
Yeah.
You know, they get to grow up around people that are similar to them.
Certainly. The thumbless cyborg beast is a nice trick. I don't know that it needs talking about in particular.
Yeah.
Oops, have we lost John? That's interesting.
Eh.
Yeah, John disappeared again.
Yeah, he'll be back if he can.
Yep.
Here he is.
There he is.
Yeah, Doc.
Where in the world is John Chull? Kind of like Carmen Sandiego.
And Dale's back. Yeah, I didn't have a lot on the agenda for this meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a little bit of I have a little bit of tell, if not show.
Share away.
So I will, while I'm here, I will tell the story. I'm having connectivity trouble. So anyway, so we're working on arms these days, and you know what's novel about that is the arm socket, the notion that the forearm, which terminates, you know, transradially, as they say, wants to fit snugly into a socket. Yasha developed a really nice technique in which he takes a cast of the forearm, does a scan of the cast, and then merges that scan of the cast with, if you will, a solid version of the cup, producing a cup with a contoured interior that just matches the subject's arm. Was that part clear?
Yeah.
That's food for thought for the project that I'm coordinating with Seth and Bob and CJ Electrics and Ross Landry for Ross's hand.
Okay. So we fitted Nathan with that on Friday, and Nathan has tried on lots and lots of prosthetics, and he just was apeshit is the phrase I'm looking for over this. He thought it was a game changer. He just loved the way it fit, and it felt just right, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually had that experience of making a plaster of Paris mold of my own hand. And even though it's rigid, you lay your hand down in it, and just because it conforms to every nook and cranny, it just feels very very right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's a great thing, but it's fairly labor intensive. Yesterday's idea is, suppose you had an arm cup which you filled with some kind of rubber or silicone material, and then you just had the subject stick his arm right in there, and now you've got a cushioned interior of the cup, which also is exactly the right fit.
Right.
Which seems like sort of a technique that might have been developed in the 19th or 20th century. Does anyone know if that's done?
Nope.
The silicone we're using here is way too slow for that.
Right. So that's my question, actually, is whether anyone, and I'll bet Ivan would know about this, because I think we're looking for the rubber that people use to make masks with. But
that's called dragon skin. I have that stuff here. It's cool.
Yeah? How quick does that cure?
I don't actually know how quick dragon skin cures. I just made it for the first time today. Presumably fast-ish, because that is what it's made for. It's really, really, really stretchy and soft. It's cool. It's probably too soft for a socket, actually. But there's no reason we can't cast in something hard and then cast in the material that we want, because biocompatibility is also going to be an issue with a lot of fast casting stuff. I'm actually going to go check on the...
Oh, that's a really good point. You could stick the plaster into...
Yeah.
You don't have to stick the actual arm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be back in a moment, because I actually have a dragon skin test that is probably done by now, because, I mean, I assume it cures that fast.
Sweet.
All you
Neat.
have to do is ask a question and it shows up. Neat.
Very cool.
Speaking of casts, I finally got the alginate, so I should be making a cast of my arm maybe tonight.
Great.
Cool.
After I do that, I'll ask you for an address to mail it to.
Excellent. Well, actually, I'll find that address. No, maybe.
Email it to me.
Sure. I don't know where to find this. Let's see.
And Dale, if you want to contribute anything else to the conversation, you're welcome.
Okay.
Insane. Nothing. I'll look for that address.
Andres, Reagan, Jonathan, Howard, Williams.
Is there a way to
And
edit?
here is the address. Edit what?
Is there a way to edit? Oops. Is there a way to edit?
To edit what?
Edit.
Probably. I can probably edit. Once it's on YouTube, I can probably go back and make editing changes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Could you
I haven't
send-
used the in-place editor in YouTube for much, but yeah, I could definitely get rid of some of the dead air spaces.
By the way, there's I have a bookmark for Chrome which will download anything from YouTube and turn it into, I think, an MP3 that you can then import into, for example, a video editor. So there are ways of doing it. Nick's back. What have you got to
MP3 is
show
an
us?
audio format.
What, Nick?
MP3 is an audio format. MP4 is video.
All right, you got me.
Also, I can't actually tell if the dragon skin's done yet, and I don't feel like opening it and finding out, so I'm going to leave it in the oven. Because it wasn't in the oven before, it was at room temperature.
Okay. Okay.
Well, next week.
So,
All right.
not much else on the agenda. If you guys are ready to wrap up, I can go ahead and stop broadcasting.
I am Googling dragon skin real quick to find out if I can
Oh,
get
okay.
it or not.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Cure time's 7 hours, but I don't remember what time today I started it. It's probably not before 1, so it's probably not done. Okay. Yep, nope, can't play with it.
Yeah. To be continued.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I forgot to be monitoring the event page to see if anybody asked any questions, so I'm going to refresh it right now and look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, take a look.
Nope. No
Okay.
question.
Cool. See ya.
Okay. So good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night, John. Thanks for joining us. Stop in the broadcast.